All right, baby. We live.
All right. Hey, everybody. It's Army Princess here, and welcome back to the channel. For those of y'all who are watching, I am a U.S. Army soldier. I've been in the military over 10 years now, and I love to share my experiences with you all. With that being said, tonight is a very special live because I have my military friends, my guests on here from the different branches.
Oh, you talking about this?
So as y'all can see, we have Air Force in the house representing. We have Team Navy in the house representing. And of course, here, Wilson household, we Team Army. So I'm coming in with my different branches here so y'all can ask y'all questions. I apologize, I don't have any Marine representation, but if you could probably look up a local recruiter if you have any Marine questions. But really quick, I just want to talk to y'all how this live is going to go. So we have a bunch of questions that we're going to be asking and answering, and then towards the end of the live, I will open it up like I usually do for questions and answers, so y'all can come in with y'all questions. But I wanted to start off and kind of talk about which branch is the best branch. So that's a very general question. A lot of people ask me all the time, which branch should they enlist in? Which branch is the best branch? And it's very hard for me to tell you which branch is the best branch from you. You have to do your own research, and you have to weigh your own pros and cons to figure out which branch is the best branch for you. Because I know when I joined the military, and I kind of already knew in my head I wanted to go Army. So it wasn't really a hard decision for me. I figured I didn't want to be on a ship and be in the water for a long time, and I didn't want to be in a plane for a long time. So it was easy for me, but I know that it should be a lot more that goes into it when you're trying to decide which branch you want to join. So we're going to open it up with the first question. I just wanted to ask my people on here in the chat. First, let me let y'all introduce yourself. I'm sorry. So we could start with Renee. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Renee, and I am stationed currently at Seymour Johnson, North Carolina, and I have been going on 20 years in August.
Oh, wow. And then we'll go with the rest of the Air Force down at the bottom. Natasha.
All right, hi y'all. I'm Natasha. I've been in for about 10 years, and I'm currently stationed at University of South Alabama as ROTC cadre, but I've worked all over. But yes.
And Stephanie.
Oh, snap. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I'm in the Navy. Who y'all? Okay, give me some.
All of that.
I've been in the Navy for 16 years now. All right, I had to do my math real quick. But can't tell you where I'm stationed at. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's do this.
Okay. You want to tell them how long you've been in? I know we talk about it each week.
Well, y'all know me, but I'm United States Army strong, and I've been in the Army for almost 16 years, and I'm stationed out here in the DC area. They might not know. There may be new subscribers.
So for my new subscribers, I'm Army, and I've been in for 13 years this year. So we got a lot of years between all of us here on camera. So
but we look young though, y'all see it. We popping, you know what I'm saying? It don't crack.
So I want to kind of talk about somebody who is like ignorant to the military, to the different branches. They don't know the differences between the different branches, and they're trying to figure out how they pick which branch is the best branch for them. So if y'all could give y'all advice on somebody that's like blindly going in trying to figure out which branch is the best branch for them.
Just jump on in. Go ahead.
So basically my advice would be when I was going in, my family is Army and Marines. And basically what I did was look at all the things that each branch did. So I know that Army, their ops is basically land, and Marines and Navy is basically water, and Air Force, we're sky. And I mean, even though we have different jobs within it, where we have medical and admin and logistics and all of that stuff, what is our main mission, and so that's what I went with first, and then I proceeded on from there, and that's why I choose the Air Force.
Okay.
Well, I can give my spiel of how I became a Navy sailor. So, family, Army, just like you had said, my grandfather and both my grandfathers served Army. So I was kind of confused. I didn't know what I really wanted to do. Let's just say I gave you a little bit of personal information. Got upset, had an argument, somebody in my family. I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to the military. Done deal. Right? So exactly. So I stormed right off. All right. And the first place that I went into for recruiting, I went to the Air Force door. No one was there. I'm just saying, this is my experience. Nobody was there. So then I went into go into the Army's door, and it was one person there. He's like, hey man, I gotta go on lunch. I've been here all day. I was like, what? Walk right on out.
You probably went there like 11:30.
Exactly, right. And I will say, I went into the Marine door. Now, this is where it got me. All right. I'm gonna get a little emotional when I talk about this. So I'm exposing it out. Okay. So I walked to the Marines, and it was one guy sitting there, and I was like, hey man, what can I do to join the military? And he was like, have a seat. So during that time, it was September 11th had happened. And I came in, and he sat me down, and he was like, look, I'm gonna give you the spiel. He was like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing for you. I'm gonna just give it to you how it is. I was like, okay. And he was like, how many siblings do you have? I said, it's 3 of us. And he was like, are you the baby? I said, yeah, I'm the youngest. And he was like, oh, okay. And he was like, so, what your brother, what your sister do? And I was like, they're around. And he was like, being where I'm from, he was like, oh, okay. So I'm gonna ask you again. He asked me my age. I was 19. And he said, okay, so what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be in the military. I want to go off. And he said, so I'm gonna just say, you said your brother and your sister, you said that they're out there. I'm like, yeah, they out there. Let's be real, thugging and bugging. And he was like, I don't want you to get yourself in a situation where I would have to call your mom. And he was like, I'm just letting you know what it is straight up from here. But he said, but if you're really talking about, going to the military, I can introduce you to a couple of brothers of mine. I'm like, brothers? And so he walked me down to the Navy office. I'll tell you right now, I walked right into that door. So all these guys dressed in this all white. I was like, yes, I got the right place, baby. Sign me up. And that's how I became a Navy sailor. All right.
I was not ready.
Hey.
I can't with you stuff.
It's the truth. I'm telling you, that's my personal experience. Not knowing nothing about the military and having that conversation, with that Marine. He broke it down to me. He gave it to me straight. Like I said, it was during September 11th when all that stuff had happened, and he would just give it to me straight of what I was getting into. So he said, I mean, if this is something, a route that you really want to go, introduce you to a couple of my brothers. I ain't expect that many people sitting there. And I'm like, hey, okay. Thank you for dropping me off. I got it. And we proceeded there.
Let me give a shout out real quick to Toya G. She is like one of my faithful subscribers. She be on every video. Well, I just saw the super chat. I didn't even realize that. Thank you. Look at that super chat.
Oh snap! Oh, we can eat real sandwiches tomorrow.
I'm gonna have to really give a shout out. Thank you so much for showing love in the live. I was not expecting that.
My bad. We done went from bologna to turkey.
What?
Thank you.
No, that's a good. I appreciate that good story, Stephanie. That you took us on a roller coaster, but that's what's up. And shout out to that Marine recruiter who gave you the real.
Yeah,
we thinking
gave me the
about
real, man.
An actual Army recruiter on here, on another YouTube video. I got the idea from Miss Natasha right down there. She's like over here for us. Like, whatever, but we think about doing that, and so if subscribers want to see that, just let Ashley know and keep dropping those green heart emojis. Who else is telling their story next? Renee.
So my story is not as.
Yeah, I don't want to follow that. Yeah, that's why.
I should have just went last. I went first. Just let her. She could have closed us out.
All out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
For me, I already knew I wanted Air Force. I wanted to be Air Force no matter what. An actual Army recruiter picked me up to take my ASVAB because they thought I was going to change my mind. And I still checked the box Air Force when I took the ASVAB because I just wanted to do Air Force. But like Ashley was saying, do your research. That's all I can tell you is look at each branch, look what you want to do in that branch, and see if that's something you want to do. All branches are good. We all have our pros and cons. You just have to figure out which one you want to go with.
I fully agree with that. You know what I'm saying? You definitely got to do a lot of your research. Did you want to give your short synopsis?
So I would just say, because I kind of talk about this in a lot of my videos, but
All
just
the time.
in case we have new people on and haven't watched. For me, I always say do your research and weigh your pros and cons. But when you go in there, you need to, I would say talk to all of the branches. And that's some people, if you don't know which one you want to join, go in there and talk to every single branch representative that you can, number one. And when you go in there, act like you never talked to the last one. So if you go in Army, don't say, well, I just talked to the Navy one and they told me this. Go in there like you never talked to any of them and see what they can do for you. Because you going in there, it's a what is it? Like nobody's making you come in and sign
Volunteer.
up. It's a volunteer force. So what can they give you? If you have a specific job in mind, can this particular branch give you the job you want? Because some branches you might not be able to do the job you want, and your quality of life is gonna suck because you done signed up for a branch that you can't even do the job you want. Or if you're going in there for school, which branch is gonna give you the most amount of school that you can get with you paying the least amount of money in the least amount of time? See the reason why you're going, why you're joining, and then which branch can give you what you want out of it. And that's how I would say is the best branch for you.
Hey. Shout out to Etta. Hey, appreciate the love. Look like we're going to put some cheese on them sandwiches now. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe by the end, we're going to have a whole Subway foot long.
Let me stop. Hey, shout out to the love, y'all. We definitely appreciate it. Ashley does this out of her passion. And so we definitely, and we appreciate our guests taking the time out to do it. Ashley went on a soliloquy about the best branch, but I'll just tell you how I chose my branch. My family was Army. And but that's not why I chose Army. We're supposed to do a video on how I joined the Army, aren't we? I left that in the last live. It's a long, arduous path on how I did it. It involves a lot of partying and drinking. But I will tell you, though, my family was Army, and it was the branch that offered me the most opportunity for my college education at the time. So I got the most bang for the buck at that time. I really wanted to be in the Air Force, so don't kill me, Army folks. I love the Army, but now I work out and do work, so I'm in the Army. So but so that's pretty much how I joined. And I see you, Kevin. I'm gonna call you and we gonna rap, bro. I'm gonna drop your comment in here, but we definitely gonna rap about doing a video. We talking about doing a question and answer with a real life Army recruiter that's gonna give you the nitty gritty and not gonna BS you.
So maybe next Friday's live, we'll do recruiter.
Yep.
I think that's.
You want to talk about this?
What? Best MOS suggestions that lead to careers as a civilian. That right there is like knowledge, because I see, and I talk about this a lot, people signing up for these MOSs because they're giving you a big, huge bonus, but the job sucks.
Boy, I tell you, let me tell you, 100%. So what's like? I don't know a lot about jobs in the Air Force and Navy. I talk to one of my line brothers in the Navy all the time and pick his brain about the Navy. What are some good jobs that you all would suggest that translates over to civilian life easier than others?
Well, I can tell you for me, I started out in supply. I used to be a logistic readiness specialist.
Okay.
So I was in that field, but I knew on the outside I wanted to do something HR. I knew I wanted to do something in the HR field. So what I did was I ended up cross training. And right now, so I do equal opportunity, which deals with unlawful discrimination and sexual harassment. That's my job now. And it equates to human resources on the outside. So I look to cross train because that's something I looked at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is that's what I wanted to do on the outside. So now I have a total of 14 years of it. So it equates to civilian side a lot. I can actually get out and be a GS-12.
Oh wow, that's what's
Yeah.
up. That's some knowledge there.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I cross trained. So I cross trained out of what I came into what I wanted to do.
And let me take real quick. We got a comment on Facebook because you can't see all the Facebook comments here on YouTube. But Sarah Price Love said human resources is one of the best jobs that convert over. So that's a good job for somebody that's looking to do something like that. It's human resources as well.
Any other jobs y'all want to add?
So I would add cyber. Anything cyber is like hot commodity. Basically, I was a 3D before I went into admin, and you have certifications, you have all types of stuff.
What's a 3D?
Oh, 3D it's cyber world.
Okay,
And,
I did. Yeah. I didn't know if you were multi-dimensional or what that meant.
Yes, 3D is cyber world and Air Force, and basically, so cyber, medical, and anything like dealing with the aircraft. Yes, so air traffic controller, all of that stuff. That's going to translate perfect on the outside.
Okay, see,
I didn't even think about that, like air traffic controller.
Me
But
neither.
that's
because we don't know nothing
like
about
that's
the Air
something
Force.
that's fun too.
Yeah, you can just be out there like.
What you got, Navy?
I'm always, like with the lights. It seems like a disco. All right, my bad.
Anything for Navy?
I mean, like she was saying, she hit it on the head. She took everything I was finna say. Thank you. You know what I'm talking about? But anyway, she's right. I mean, you got your cyber for Navy's ITs, for air, like she was saying, to get out, we have OSs that do their job. So I mean, like Renee was saying with the cross training for HR, that in the Navy, go ahead.
What's an OS?
It is a operations specialist. So they so you know how like Navy ships, right? We get helos, airplanes that land, and the OSs are in charge of that to make sure that the pilots can come down, you know, without having any hiccups out there while out on that water.
Okay.
So that's their specialty. So I mean, and in the Navy, you got different schools that you know these rates go for. For me, I'm a CS, so I'm a culinary specialist. I'm gonna put that out there. So I be whipping it up, okay? And see, for me, I'm working on my certs for you know to be a sous chef, executive chef, and stuff like that.
Oh. You want to come visit? We got like a full pantry.
I mean, you know, if you want to, you know, pay me on the side, you know, I'm there.
Hey, when we get above cheese, then we got you. You know what I'm saying? We get cheese right now.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, for the Navy, we have different rates that do that job. Like how y'all call it with MOSs, right? Y'all call it MOSs. See,
military occupational specialty.
Yeah. See, Navy, we got a different language from everybody else. You might as well say.
Okay. And I'm y'all know I like to laugh and joke and clown, but the Army, or not the Army, the Armed Forces, DOD, Department of Defense. Here we go. We're big on acronyms. So, and especially with different branches, just like she highlighted, we have different acronyms within the different branches. So, so when you're asking these questions, your Ashley has a lot of recruits, a lot of potential recruits in her channel. feel free to ask the questions about what they mean. That's why I'm messing with my friends and raising my hand. But even when I talk to my close friends in the Navy and he's spitting out these acronyms, like what that means, I don't, I don't understand. But it's very interesting, the different jobs that they do, especially on the ships. But for us, medical field has a lot of good
yeah,
jobs.
you already know medical. And I just did a video last week. My last upload was different medical MOSs that people don't really know about. So check out that video after this one. But I would say anything medical is gonna translate over.
And I do some IT work and I do some work in MI, but IT is the hotness right now. Cybersecurity is hot. So if you're involved, if you're interested in any of that, that'll translate immediately, quickly. But like they mentioned, human resource, medical healthcare administration, any of those jobs that translate cyber. She's mentioned culinary specialist. But one thing that everybody mentioned is that they're getting certificates or they're doing advanced training in their jobs to make themselves more marketable. So don't just get in the military and sit around and drink all day and do YouTube live videos all day and not trying to sustain yourself, but always just try to get better.
Okay, we're moving on, talking about the different branches and the different jobs in the different branches. What are some of the obvious pros and cons? Because I think that will help people kind of decide a little bit more on which branch is the best branch for them. Because I tell y'all right now, this PT, we talked about PT last week. PT is no joke in the Army. I can't speak for Navy and Air Force.
They don't do nothing.
But PT in the Army is no joke. And I would say that's one of the obvious pros and cons. Well, I'm not going to call it a con because I like to work out. But for some people, it could be a con.
Yes. So what are some of, real quick. So I see a lot of questions in the comments, y'all. I'm not ignoring y'all questions. But as we get to the end, just we'll definitely open it up for questions and take the questions, as many questions as we can in the order that we receive them once we open it up, y'all. But yeah, what are some of the, pros and cons that you feel like for the Air Force or the Navy, whichever one wants to jump in there, double dutch in those ropes. Not everybody one time. You know what
I mean? I go. So pros. Now I will say, never been on a ship in my life. Never been on a ship in my life, right? No. I've been on a ship. I'm just saying first experience. Let me take that back. Okay, so first experience. DDG, which is a destroyer, right? We call them small boys in the Navy. First experience there, man. You talking about rocking? But I loved every minute of it. I will say the thing that I love about the Navy is being on that water. Granted, yes, shore duty when it comes around. Pick me, I'm ready to go. 5 years out to sea on one vessel, you be like, man, yeah.
Wow, that's a long time.
That's a long time. That's a long time. But you have people that be on you be there between so I would say for me as a CS, I had to be there for 5 years. My first ship that I was on, and the view that I saw every time I went up topside, going above so you can go out to go see, was that ocean. Ain't nothing like being out in the middle of the water. Now, granted, yes, it is scary because it's just like you go out there, you see nothing. It's just everybody that's on the ship with you, and the DDG holds about 300, between 240, 340 people, depending upon, if you got ship riders or if you got helos that's coming on board, or if you pick up a squadron, which in the Navy, you can also be on a squadron. Out there, you can work on them planes just like the Air Force do. You know what I mean? But that's what I loved about it, and the camaraderie that I established with a lot of people at my first command. Even my second sea duty, which I was there for another 5 years. But the relationship that I built with, those people, I mean, it's different when you're out there, on deployment. So for us being on deployment, I would say we range between 6, 7, 8, 9, even longer, depending on what size vessel you're on. On a carrier, never been on a carrier, but that holds about 5,000 people on board.
Wow.
Yes, it's like its own little city. And when I had
the boat that the little
it's in New York right now.
that went to New York.
So yeah, that's kind of similar, but that's a medical ship. So the Comfort, the one that went up to New York, that is a actual medical ship. And I mean, you have everybody, like I said, with the different rates there to bring that ship in, take it out to sea. But it's mostly a medical ship where you have your pharmacy, your doctors, your corpsmen, which we call them HMs. Of course, every ship got a culinary specialist, baby. Who gonna feed all the people? Okay. But I mean, that's the con of it, of being out to sea, away from family.
Yeah.
For that long period of time. And I mean, on deployments, being out in the middle water, you don't know whether or not if you're going to get extended, whether or not if you're supposed to do a turnover with another ship that's supposed to, hey, we got another ship coming, we're going back home. Sorry, they're in the yards, they're not going to be able to come out on time. We got to extend y'all for another month. And those dates, not actually having an actual date of when you coming home. And of course, you can't spill the beans because you can't let the OPSEC out. You know what I mean? But yeah, that would be the con. I mean, just being away from family for a long period of time. And sometimes you get tired of seeing the same people over and over again. It's like, look, I done seen you for the last 6 months. Stop saying the same stuff you said in the first 2 days, okay? You know what I mean?
I feel like you really said that though multiple times.
I have. But at the end of the day, all the experience that I've, dealt with in the Navy. I mean, look, I'm here for 16 years. I only thought I was honestly gonna do 4.
Wow.
But with those mentors, man,
yeah,
man, it make you stay. Sometimes you find yourself, you be like, dang, I stayed longer than what I was supposed to.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Y'all got me again. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you had good camaraderie and
Yeah.
good experiences there. Before we move on, I got to give a shout out.
A shout out to my Ocho Bay. Look at that. Thank y'all. Y'all, look at, we got a sandwich. We got the turkey. We got the cheese.
Yo, look like I might have a little glass of Kool-Aid on the side, but I know who ain't making it. That's a little joke we had with our family. But hey, thank you for the support, bro. We definitely appreciate it. I see a lot of the questions. We just ask you stay on here, so we'll answer some of those questions. But want to talk about some of y'all Air Force experiences. What
pros and cons?
Pros and cons of the branch. I'm sorry, I lost track. It must be the wine.
Okay, I'll go. Pro PT test.
What do y'all
bring it up? They're gonna bring it up. So PT test. It's a little easier than the other rest of the branches.
A little.
what do y'all know?
They do some double dutching, some patty.
No. We do the same. We do running, push-ups, sit-ups, waist. Boom. Easy. And then we do the walk test. I know bike or something or swim.
Every other question for you, sis. Go ahead.
Walk?
Right, like if you hurt,
the walk test is harder. The walk test is harder than the run. You might as well
don't get it twisted. Walk through, and I would not want to walk the PT test.
You walking like the Olympians.
Exactly.
You out there salsa. You know bachata.
I'm gonna tell you this. You gonna have some Navy sailors. Okay, we walk on the ship all day long, up and down those ladder wells. Well, we call them stairs. Okay, in the civilian world they call them stairs. Up and down there, you tell a Navy sailor, hey, you gotta walk. They be like, I'm there. I walk all day long, never sit down.
You're crying on a walk test, but that walk test will hurt you. Okay, that walk test is not a joke. They give you an extra minute for the run test. I'm like, you might as well just
I feel you. No. I definitely feel you. We're gonna talk about y'all
Well, she didn't get to talk.
dorm/hotels that y'all live in, condominiums.
Oh yeah, Air Force housing is nice.
Boy, I'm talking about
the
barracks.
is nice.
Don't y'all have a butler for every 10 airmen? Is that not? I don't know. That's what I heard on the street. That's why we're doing this.
Hey, green heart emojis coming through.
That's what I'm just asking. You know what I'm saying? What like? Y'all, don't y'all get paid extra if y'all don't have like AC to get too cold? These are questions.
We get paid extra on some Army bases. Yes.
See?
Yes.
So it's not a myth.
It's not a myth. If it is not up to Air Force standards, we get paid extra.
It's real life. What'd you call it? I couldn't hear you there.
Hazard pay.
Y'all getting hazard pay
on an Army base
on a first world country. Go ahead. Hey, jump on in, sis. Go ahead. Jump on
I will say, yes, they have the best living conditions. Okay.
So anybody in the Air Force, the living conditions is nice in the Air Force.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Ashley told me I rudely interrupted the Air Force talk before you went, Renee. I'm sorry. Any other pros and cons you want to add?
Oh, pros I have is just the people. I think that's in all branches. It's just the people that you meet.
Yeah.
That you bond with. As much as you hate to leave, as much as you hate to be at a base, you hate to leave the base.
Yeah.
Because you leave people. I hate making friends because it's like you always gone. You're like, okay, 3 to 5 years, you're out. You're going to your next base. So that's the con, really. It's just leaving. It's always you're meeting people. As soon as you click, it's like, hey, you got orders. And it's like, God, and you have to leave. For me, that's a con. But believe it or not, the branches are really small because you see some people again. Yeah. You're like, hey, I remember. So, also a pro is traveling. I traveled a lot. My first base was Japan. Did not want to go there.
What part of Japan?
I was in Yokota, Japan.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I did not, but that was the best I extended twice. That was the best 5 years of my life. And anything advice I can give you, if you get an overseas base, save your money. Just save the cola. Don't even spend it. Just save the cola. Put the cola up and don't touch it. And that would be save your cola. Because you can live off your check and just be fine. That is one of my regrets is spending like I was somebody rich. Because making it rain is what I was doing.
Yeah, I want to put this comment up here because somebody Cherokee Love spoke about slow promotion is a myth in the Air Force. And I don't know what the Air Force promotion rate, but real quick, I want to talk about what I do know a little bit about because I have Navy seamen that work directly with me. And I was talking to this seaman yesterday, actually, and I was like, y'all promotion sucks. He said,
hold back a little bit.
No, because I couldn't believe it. He was like, and the amount of people that took the test, so you have to take a test to get promoted, and they only promoted like less than 5% of the whole Navy. I was like, are you serious? Like literally, like I want to say 2 people out of our whole hospital got promoted this last time they did promotion from the Navy, and I was like, I could not be in the Navy.
Oh, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. That's what
just like he was saying, Ashley. I mean, with the Navy, we can go anywhere. We can work with any branch. Okay, just let that be known. Okay. So, like she was saying, corpsmen, their promotion is it's really small. So when I first came in, they had your dental technicians, and then they had your corpsmen. They merged those together. So within the Navy, I'm not sure how it is in the other branches. They start to merge a lot of different rates or MOS is how y'all say together. And with having so many people within that classification, I mean, making rank, it's very small, and they do it based off of the quotas that come out. A lot of people, they look at it, you know, they go in there and study for that exam, you know, and probably go in there and kill it. Maybe everybody else might kill it too, you know. And then when those quotas come out, you look at that percentage and you be like, what the? Huh? I made it in 2% just to make E6.
Wow.
That's pretty small, and I mean it's hard to make rank, you know, in my radar MOS how the branches are, but it depends, man. Sometimes you may just be that lucky person that just climb up the rank. So it's like a pro and a con, because you can't really say that's one reason.
On jobs, it's not necessarily, like she said, it's not necessarily a con, but that's count when you're trying to decide on a branch that you want, especially if you planning on doing it for the long term. Because if it's like very, 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 very hard for me to get promoted in this particular branch, then I might need to consider another branch. But that everybody else ain't like that.
Jump on in.
In my career field, there's only 100 tests. I'm testing against maybe 20 people. So how many people gonna make it out of there? Maybe 5 of us.
There you go.
So it all depends on your career field. So I'm not gonna necessarily say the branch, because if I stayed in my MOS specialty, is specialty for us. If I was what I'm in is higher. So I can score higher than some people do to make the same rate. Air Force. It all depends on what's your cutoff score.
That's like Army.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not just Air Force too. We got it is slow.
It is slow, and they go off of service. Your war people who are good test takers. His sergeants, you know, and so now that's hard, but Air Force is like in between, because Army, y'all be passing out them ranks.
They do.
Air Force is a much smaller specialty branch. The Navy is a smaller specialty branch. So when you're comparing 5 divisions in the Air Force, you only need 5. So the law averages is going to be a lot smaller, a lot harder to promote, and it also goes into recruiting. I've talked to family members, and they say, well, it's harder to get in the Air Force because they need less people, and it's it's a little bit hard to get in the Navy because they need less people. The Army, we always need people. The Marine field you're getting into and what you put into it, but if you're dedicated into your career field, it is possible to get promoted. It may take a little bit longer, but you know what? You'll appreciate it a little bit more. So that's because my baby was slow to get promoted at one point.
It took me a long time.
And she was frustrated and mad. But now, and another thing is when you slow to get promoted. And so, and if you run into any of those NCOs, cling on to them because they're going to teach you the way to scratch and claw for everything you have. But, and again, like you said, we're having the battle of the branches, but mostly cons. And I don't think we talked about the pros and cons of the Army. But I would like to talk about a little bit of the Army and the pros and cons, quote unquote. Being a bigger branch, the facilities are not going to be different job fields that you can pick from because we're such a bigger force and we're such a larger force that you can choose from. And I don't know, I'm just be real, my boy in the comments may get mad at me, but we'll talk to him later as a recruiter. But it's easier to get in the Army. This is what it is. And I'm going to be real. It is easier to get in the Army. But when you join the Army, you could build a good career for you. You join any of the branches. You can build a good career from yourself. And I always tell people, this is my recruitment speech, and I'm done. This is my recruitment spiel. The military is the best place for someone who does not have be a doctor. You're not going to be a lawyer, and you're not going to invent something. The military is the best place for you to leave, to jump classes, for you to go from lower middle class, to middle class and upper middle class. The Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force gives you that opportunity, mostly through the VA loan, because now you can buy a house and get a free 20%. There ain't no other job that gives you that. And that's how you jump classes, is buying property, because that's the one thing that's always going to accrue value. The one thing you could buy that will not depreciate.
That's what I want to do. I don't want to sign up for pharmacy and then you tell me, oh, now you finna work in the lab, because I don't like blood. So I
was so mad.
I picked the MOS, a job that I knew a branch that I knew I could pick the job that I wanted, and they wasn't gonna move me to where they wanted me to go.
How does that work, Stephanie? Like, is that real life or like?
Yes, it is real life. I mean, like I said, like you like Ash was saying, she came in, she picked what she wanted to do. Done deal. What she wanted to do. As a corpsman, because I'm sure you work with a lot of them, they tell you all their Navy stories. As a corpsman, in the Navy, you do jump because they can work in ortho. I don't know all the medical terms, ortho, like, you know, all of these different places in the medical field, but they're still in that as an HM. So that's why it's hard for them to make rank. Granted, it's a whole description of what an HM can do. They do anything and everything medical. Anything and everything medical.
And see, I don't like blood, so I don't want to work in the lab. I don't, you know what I mean?
You
I don't
stuck
like
on that.
Yes, because if I say I want to do this and I sign that contract, don't put me over there because that's not what I signed up for. And I'm glad.
I'm glad you enjoyed the Navy because I feel like
Hey, for real, because you probably would have been upset, you know.
Some people, because they could be like, oh, I like to, you know, switch and learn all this different stuff, and it could be a pro for some people.
Tell them why you
but for
ran,
me,
son.
it was a con.
Clap back. Now, how is that the same thing in the Air Force? Like you sign up for your specialty, that's what you're doing, or do they shift you around? Okay.
That's why the Navy is the best, because you can do it all.
Hey, you go.
Want to experience it all and you unsure? Come to the Navy. Come on in there. You could come in. You can actually come in and not know what you want to do. Now, granted, they're gonna send you to a ship. You're gonna be pulling some line, or as civilians say, some rope. Okay, you're gonna get that work. But then you could also cross train, like Renee was saying when she first came in, she cross trained for a different job. In the Navy, you come in as an undesignated seaman. You can cross train from different rates, or like other military branches say, MOSs, and pick what you want to do.
Okay.
From there, we call it the OJT. You know,
on the job training.
Yeah. So that, I mean, you could pick from there. If you come in the Navy, of course, go to sea first. Okay, let's just get that known. You're gonna go out there on that water first. You got to get that experience. But it's so many different jobs out there where you can go and get that cross training when you do have a downtime or so. And then you're actually learning something else. So it combines. So who y'all Navy? Okay, you can experience it all. If you're unsure, we got you. We'll help you out.
So this is okay. So this for you, Stephanie. I know you just got done talking, but this question caught my eye.
And shout out to Desire because she be in every live. Every single live.
I do recognize her name. But I'm starting to even know y'all, boy. I'm telling you. So what is the scariest thing about being in the Navy?
Scariest thing about being in the Navy.
And I'm glad y'all asked Stephanie because she's gonna keep it 100.
I'll keep it 100. So I'm not sure if you guys heard about what happened to one of the ships. USS Fitzgerald. When they say you got to be ready to train, when I say when nobody's out there in the water, it's just you guys. You got to know your damage control. You got to. You don't know what your damage control is, or to give a better clarification, firefighting. That's what damage control is. Everybody on the ship has to do. Everybody on the ship. Don't matter if you're a cook, don't matter if you're IT, you know, Intel, don't matter if you're OS, don't matter if you're HM, don't matter if you're working engineering. Everybody needs to know damage control, because one of the scariest things that can happen is that missile inbound, bam, hit the ship. Big hole. Everybody heard of the USS Cole. You know how those people came together to actually patch that hole up before the ship sank. You know what happened in Pearl Harbor. I mean, that is probably one of the scariest things. You know, I thank God I haven't experienced that, but I do know a couple of people who have, you know, have experienced that, or know of somebody that was on one of those ships. So that's the scariest thing, is to make sure that you actually learn that cross training that somebody teaches you. I mean, it's not saying that war in general is scary to everybody.
Mhm.
But when she commented that for Navy, I mean, you out there in the middle of the water. You can't call 911 to have somebody come out to come patch a hole on the side of the ship that's probably as big as 3 excursions or 5 18-wheelers. Just saying, because you don't know what's going to happen out there in the water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So do y'all do a lot of training, a lot of drills?
Yeah. Oh, drills, boy. But we drilled morning, noon, night,
Really?
past reveling, before reveling, in the middle of the night. Surprise is a drill. Oh, but I mean, having that, repetition over and over again, you start to learn. You start to grasp it. But yeah.
Okay.
And we're gonna open it up to question and answer right now, so y'all can post y'all questions, and we'll try to, as they come in, we'll try to answer them. You had one you wanted to put up?
Yeah. So for the Air Force, any advice on joining the Air Force after 30 or at 30? Excuse me.
No advice. I say go in there. It depends. So if you do have your degree, go officer. Just go that route, and it's the best route. They have a more level of respect, starting off as a lieutenant and moving on up. If not, it's a great stepping stool. I mean, nobody's judging you because you're 30 going into the military. We just got a job to do. You can do it if you.
Broad question. I do. So this is a question for all of us. I want to go back. Brother Nick came in there and supported us greatly, and I think this is or immensely. This is a question that we could all approach from a different standpoint. Was your first subordinate? Excuse me. How did y'all deal with that, or any challenges that you all were able to overcome?
I can't really answer that question because in my career field, you have to be E5 and above to come in there. So I just have a subordinate now, and he's an NCO, so it's a little different. I don't have we call them airmen. I don't have airmen, so for me that's a different. I have an NCO right now. That's my subordinate, so it's a little different for me. So I can't really answer that one.
So for me, I can kind of answer that one because I had one that was a headache. I'm not even gonna lie. So it was when I first got promoted to an NCO in the Army. You get promoted once you make rank, you become an NCO, and once you become an NCO, you have soldiers underneath you that you take care of, you look out for, you help them out, mentor them, train them. So I was a newly promoted NCO, and then I got a subordinate under me. And just to give y'all a little backstory, this subordinate came to Maryland, where I was stationed at. But before he got there, his supervisor called over to tell us that he was gonna be a headache. So that already kind of tell you what you finna get. I was like, oh, deal with somebody that was not always on the straight and narrow. And I would just say you kind of gotta get to know who that person is and how you can better teach them, because everybody doesn't learn the same way. Everybody doesn't take it in the same way. And you need to really get to know who your soldiers are, who your sailors are, who your airmen are, and how they learn and how they interact with each other. And just try to get more personal with them and really see what the underlying issue is.
Before we move on, just want to give I just started watching I hate to admit, I went through a lot of your videos though, and I was just talking to Ashley about it this week. Hey, y'all check out his channel.
Y'all go definitely check out the official Ricky Bowden. He has a channel. And if y'all looking for particular MOSs, he does a lot of interviews for different people in the Army with different MOSs and Air Force as well. So if you're looking for one, hit him up. Maybe he can find somebody with that MOS that he can interview and give y'all a little bit more insight on that MOS.
Sorry to interrupt, but like show love to our people that's doing good stuff. But I'll also interject about dealing with subordinates. This is the thing that I'm now in a job where you have to be, a certain rank, and I find myself as the lowest ranking person wherever I go. But previously, I did have soldiers, And Ashley and I talk about how to deal with subordinates all the time. And the thing I tell her is to always walk in and set a baseline. You can always loosen the belt, but it's hard to tighten the belt. So you always start off with a baseline and say, these are our standards and these are what we're going to do. And then moving into it, not just to be a hard line or to be mean, but moving into it, ask them, where do they want to be? Ask them, what do they want to accomplish? And you help them accomplish those goals, because then they're going to respect you and they're going to work for you harder because you're trying to help them accomplish their goals, and they're going to give you their blood, sweat, and tears because they want to versus because they have to. So those are the two things that I will, and that's under mentorship. You gotta mentor and not be a boss. And those are two separate things. So definitely do that. Go ahead though.
I do want to say this also with all branches, you will find yourself that you will have peers. So you may be an E4 and then you may move up into NCO ranks as far as Air Force. I'm not sure how it goes with others, but then you will be the supervisor or above a shop. You may have to come in and it's going to be uncomfortable. My first subordinate was my best friend. One of my best friends, and it was very hard because I had to go to my mentor like, okay, I know that this is what it's supposed to be, but I'm struggling with that. And that is something that goes on with all branches. And then I was in another situation where a good friend of mine, she was my supervisor. So you have to know when to draw the line. Work is work, friendship is friendship.
There we go.
Yeah.
Very hard, but then that's why in the Air Force, and I'm not sure in any other branch, we do feedbacks. Hey, look, this is what I expect from you, and this is what I look forward for you doing, and this is my guidelines, and then y'all can go from there. But definitely mentorship. Hey, I'm trying to help you. We could do this as a team, and then you will get way more respect. So yes,
definitely. Anybody else have anything to add before we move on to the next question? We got a really good question.
Just like Natasha was saying, I mean, it's all y'all covered it. Forget it. But usually, like if with my subordinates, as CS is, well, we got some cutthroat seamen out there, boy. They just be like, I'm not gonna do this. What you mean? I gotta wake up early in the morning, cook this, blah blah blah. I mean, you have some, and it's just like they say. I mean, you gotta know their background. I always try to put myself in their shoes, and then I always refer back to my mentors, who guided me, and how I was treated, the way that I didn't want to be treated. I try, you got to know the difference between the two, like you said, you can't tighten that belt up when it's loose and it's flying all over the place. But the way that I was treated when I first joined, I try not to do that to my junior sailors as much as possible. But sometimes you got to tighten those reins. Like, look, this is what it is. No ifs, no ands, no buts. Now, if they do come with some ideas, I'll let them go for it. And if it's not meeting a certain standard, you explain to them why, and they're like, oh, okay, I see why, you said do it this way, or I see why this doesn't work this way. And sometimes if I can't get to them, I go grab one of my peers. I'll be like, look, I got this guy. He's not listening to me. Can you talk to him? Because sometimes you might just have to find that one person who can really connect with them. Connect with them. And then you have so many people that come in with, you don't know what they're going through personally, financially, emotionally. Sometimes people that come in older don't necessarily always have the right answers because, never knowing what they experience, and experience play a lot on that. So that's just my feedback from that. But yeah.
No, thank you. You brought a lot of good new points into that. I appreciate that. This next question is a question that Etta brought up. Ashley gets a lot.
Yes, I get a lot of questions about joining with people who join in with kids or with family already. And maybe one of the future lives, I'll have some, people on that have kids that join with kids. But
and we're gonna have a recruiter on the future live. Stay tuned in when we post that. Y'all know I'm in here for the plugs. You know what I'm saying? Y'all call me an extension cord. I got plugs for days. You know what I mean? But I'm sorry. It's the one. Don't yell at me. But can you join with children?
So I just recently found out because I actually have a soldier that had a child before she joined, and I talked to her about it. And if you go back and watch my video, I'm gonna put the play. I did a video. It was called like asking my soldiers about advice about people joining the military, and she's actually on there talking about how she joined with kids. So I know in the Army, I do believe you have to give up custody, some sort of custody, either physical custody or paternal custody of your children. And there is some type of loophole that you can join with kids, but I'm not 100% sure. I would say talk to a recruiter, but I do believe there is a way that you can join with kids, but you have to, if you're single, if you're married, you can come in with kids. But if you're single, because she was a single parent, you have to give up, I want to say, physical custody of your child.
So as far as I know, you just have to make sure your kids are taken care of. It's just like being in the Army, or military, excuse me. Just like being in the military and being a dual military, or being a single parent in the military. You have to have a plan for your child once you're in. That's what we can speak on that because we know. Once we get a recruiter in here, we'll ask them and we'll get you the nitty gritty and the bottom line up front, the most current information. But the Army wants to make sure that you have a plan, or not the Army, the military will make sure you have a plan for your children while you're in, because you have to be able to accomplish the mission.
And you could be asked to deploy at any minute, and you have to have somebody that you've already designated to take care of your kids.
So I have a question I just thought about. So let's start with Renee. If you didn't join the Air Force, what other branch would you have joined?
If you don't have another branch, then you don't have another
No,
branch.
she got another branch. You can't just give her out.
She said when she came in, she wanted Air Force.
Say
Yeah,
that doesn't exist.
I'm in it. I don't have no.
You'll be in a space force.
I would just stay civilian.
You know what? We'll come back to you. We ain't gonna let you slide on that. Back to you. All right, Natasha, which one would you have joined if it wasn't the Air Force?
I'm being an astronaut. Off rip. Now, at the time when I was enlisting, I was between Marines and Air Force. I know it's like total two extremes.
Yeah.
Basically, I had a friend who she's still in the Marines, and she was like, she was like the recruiter, like, hey, look, this is what we're doing. She was giving me her experience, and that's where I was going to go. But then my family, they was basically like, no, you like to get, dressed up. You like to wear earrings, your nails, your this, your that. So we suggest Air Force. So if I had to choose another branch, it would just have to be Army. I mean, so no. I said that's what I wanted, but if I had to choose,
Army. Stephanie is not a surprise. You know what's coming.
Oh, it's my turn. If I had to choose, like now, like I said, I was a confused little girl back then. I didn't know what. I just got into an argument. I was gonna just join the military. But I mean, learning what I've learned now, and where I've been stationed. If I honestly had to choose, it may be the Marines.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm a tomboy at heart. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But it may be the Marines, man, for real.
Yeah. That's what's up. You, baby?
So if I had to pick another branch,
oh boy. Yeah.
I was not informed when I joined the military. Let me tell y'all.
Yeah, she already know. She already know the answer.
I like my nails and my earrings, and I be so jealous when I have people at the window and they come in their little Air Force uniform with their pearls in and they little pink nails.
She be so mad.
I be so burnt up. So y'all already know I would have joined the Air Force had I not joined the Army. I'm happy I joined the Army. But if I could turn back the hands of time and they was in the Army, people said we closed for lunch, I'd have been right down to the Air Force.
The Air Force would have been closed for breakfast. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But I say all that. I would have joined the Air Force on the real. The quality of life is a big thing.
I would have joined just because I could wear earrings.
The Army is working to get it up, but we working out. But I couldn't be on no boat for that long.
No.
I just couldn't rock with the Navy. I like, the Navy job sounds interesting as far as cross training. They might have got me in there off of that, maybe. But then you talk about a boat, and then you
for
said
5 years.
5 years, Ninja, please.
5 years. It goes by so fast. Just like Renee was saying, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I gotta speak from the heart. You ain't gonna talk my name like this. But like Renee was saying, man, you be with those people for so long. When it's time to leave, that hurts. Especially if you made a good connection with a few of them. You might go to the command where you be like, man, I gotta hurry up and ride out. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's Navy, of course. You got to be on that water longer than you be on that land. Okay, we didn't join the Army. You joined the Navy. Hi ho, sailor, you gotta go.
And y'all go to some cool ports though too, don't y'all? Like y'all.
Yeah, I mean, we go to different ports now. I will say.
Oh yeah.
We go ahead and shout out to the Navy. Okay. So smaller ships. DDGs, we call them small boys. I mean, they can pull into any port. You know what I'm saying? I know I went on one deployment. I hit 14 ports. 14.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
And we went to Peru 3 times. Okay. In that same deployment. It was to the point I was like, yo, I want that blanket. They was like, oh, we don't have it. Like, don't worry about it. I'm coming back next month. You gonna have it for me? Oh, I got it for you. Bam, got my blanket. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, our whole Navy.
That's cool. So Renee, you still gonna stick with the civilian answer? That's what we're gonna do. I'm just asking for a friend. I don't want no smoke.
Yeah. Lord. If I had if you making me like I had to pick one, I have to absolutely pick one. Definitely not Navy because I can't do that water. I like to be at the beach, but I don't want to be on it the whole time. Like, no, so no. Marine. Oh no, the field life. Oh no, I can't love the uniform. God, my God, I love that uniform. But and we're not gonna talk about Coast Guard, but I'm gonna have to do.
No, I forgot about the Coast on the low. I would have done Coast Guard on the low.
You know what? I was thinking that too. Like
on the low, don't sleep on Coast. They part of DHS, but they still they like the
baby Navy.
They pretty much a baby Navy. Yeah, you're right. So if I have to, it'll have to be next. Will be at the Army. I mean, the Air Force work with the Army anyway. We got joint tasking.
Come on in. Y'all are stepchildren anyway. You know what I'm saying?
So Stacy asked a good Army question. Which Army basic training facility is the best one? And I mean, I've only been to one, so
I can answer it real quick, fast, and in a hurry, job.
How are you gonna say which one is the best one?
I'm glad you asked. Because first of all, Fort Leonard Wood gets cold up there. That's in Kansas, out in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know where it is.
It's not in Kansas.
Exactly. That's the problem.
Missouri.
It's in Missouri, something like that. So no. Then you got Fort Sill, Oklahoma. That's a dust bowl. It's like they got tumbleweeds that roll out there.
You can't go off
right
of the
now.
weather. You don't know what the actual facilities are like.
I know what Stacy asking. Then next we talk about Fort Benning. That's you basically a Marine. You don't want that in your life.
It's sweaty.
All right, and then what's the other one?
Fort Jackson.
That's where you need to go.
Why? It's hot in
Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
It's hot in Fort Jackson.
It get a little hot, but it's better than the other options. I'm just telling you.
I went to Fort Leonard Wood.
They call it Relaxing Jackson for a reason.
Where did you go?
Relaxing Jackson.
I went to Fort Leonard Wood. Let me tell y'all, Fort Leonard Wood is the best place to go for basic training. Now, it is cold. It is in the middle of nowhere, but
there's no people there.
It is. It's close to St. Louis.
You got time.
St. Louis is the next biggest city. And the USO is really nice. So But I went to Fort Leonard Wood, and I really like Fort Leonard Wood. Fort Leonard Wood, I think the facilities are like nice and okay. Stacey. I love my basic training drill sergeants that I went to, and Fort Leonard Wood is the place to go. Relaxing Jackson, it's too hot. It's too hot there.
I want to talk about this. Yeah. So, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I do have a question. Do y'all get to pick where y'all go, or does it depend on your job, or it doesn't matter?
You don't get to pick nothing in the Army.
You don't get to pick. I think how they choose. This is just my thinking, and we can ask the recruiter next week. But my thinking is it depends on it depends on like when your class, like when your MOS is gonna start. So like if your MOS is if your class date for your AI, we call it AIT, like when we learn our job, if it's gonna start and then they got the next closest basic training that's gonna end when your MOS is gonna start, then you just go wherever to that location where your basic training is.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's no joke. But hey, Lackland. Okay, so they said just go and join the Air Force, go to Lackland, and go hang out in San Antonio and be chilling.
San Antonio is nice.
So where's the basic training for the Navy?
Look, he said Fort Benning. It ain't no joke.
I told you, it's basic training.
I would not say Fort Benning.
One location.
It's basic training for the Navy. We're in the Pacific Ocean.
Oh no, Illinois, Chi-Town.
No, Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Do they give you a gun?
I mean, yeah, you learn how to shoot there. I mean, it's basic training, but we all got one location, okay?
Oh, I know everybody go to Chicago.
Boy.
Now you go to different places, like you were saying, to learn your MOS, depending where your school is at. You know, they have different locations and stuff for that. But basic training, one location, one team, one fight.
They prepare you for war going to Chicago.
Chicago is war.
All right, my bad. I'm sorry. Hey, the opinions and comments of Gabriel Wilson do not reflect the brand of Army Princess with two N's. But I stand by what I say.
OCW 2.0, who is always in every single live, says South Carolina is hot, which it is.
I'm just saying. It's a little hot, but you can deal with it. I'm just saying. Listen, don't go to no other basic training. But I don't know if you have much of a choice. It's based on numbers. You know what I mean? It's all based on numbers.
So we about to wrap it up in a few. If anybody have any other questions, go ahead and drop the questions. Hey, drop the questions now. And
before we wrap it up, though, do y'all have any closing comments that y'all like to add? Hey, open mic now.
Hi, it is I, Navy again.
Right.
I just want to say, I just want to say that I know in the Navy, you know, you can come in and enlist it. You can go officer. Every branch has an officer program. I was looking on some of these little comments here, and a lot of them was talking about different officer programs. So I'm not sure how it goes for other military branches, but I mean, in the Navy, we have a lot of great officer programs that, you know, you come in enlisted, you ask the right questions, look it up for yourself. I mean, everything's on there on, you know, Navy.com. You pull that up and look at all the different programs and stuff that we got. So just in case for some of y'all that don't want to be enlisted, go to officer, you know, get your degree, or you can actually in the Navy, they can actually send you to school. You can earn your degree. Now, granted, you got to come back and serve some time because the military ain't going to pay you to go to school and you ain't going to give us nothing. Okay, now that's for every branch. Oh, we'll send you to school, get that degree, but come on back. You got some time to serve. Okay,
1 for 3.
Exactly. But I mean, school. That's a good thing to join the military for. If you're unsure or if you're like, man, I ain't got no money for school, come in, do at least 4 years. I'm not sure how all other states offers. I know in Texas, you serve 2 to 4 years, go back to school. When you get out, you go to school for free. Same thing in Illinois. I know that for sure.
There you go.
So just putting that out there in case somebody wants to ask one of those questions, at least it's answered, you know.
Good points. Thank you. Anybody else want to follow her up?
I definitely was going to say school. Definitely doing ROTC as a cadre. I wish I could have done that. Like, it's awesome. You go to school, you're in as a college student, and you come in as an officer, and they pay for everything, and so, and it's the same for Army. Army does it more. So I'm
Yeah.
just saying, if you want to go to school and you want to make yourself marketable on the outside, if you don't decide to stay in the military for a whole 20 years, go in, do ROTC, and then get your education, and then go in as an officer and do what you want to do, and then dip off and go on the outside. But I definitely say school. If you're enlisted, yes, please go to school. It's hard. It's going to be hard. I ain't going to front. It's going to be hard, but definitely go to school and do what you got to do. But yes.
This comment came in just in time for you, Miss Renee.
What?
Yeah. I hit 20 in August. I decided to extend. I'll probably extend one more year. Just to get my stuff lined up. And then yes, I'm retiring. Should be at 21 years.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Who else? Who
Yeah,
else
but-
doing 20? Anybody else?
I'm already made. Oh, go ahead, Natasha. My bad.
I was going to say, I'm just halfway there, so I might as well just go ahead and do the other half.
That's how it happened with me. When I went over my so I was at my 12 years, and I was like, man, I'm not gonna make rank. I'm about to struggle. They gonna kick me out anyway, because I ain't made it within the time frame. What am I gonna do? But then, something inside me, I was like, you know what? Bump this. I've been riding this long. If they kick me out, you got to pay up. Okay, you want me out? Okay, where they cash flow. But yeah, man, 20 years. I don't know if I'm gonna do past, but 20 years right now, just where I'm at right now. 16 years in, thinking about like, man, I can't do this. I've been in this long.
4 years.
Huh?
You better go on the last 4.
Oh yeah, definitely. I already got my contract extended already to that 20-year mark. But anything afterwards, I don't know. You know what I mean? It just depends, man. Honestly, it depends where my life is at. Literally.
It's a different feeling when you can hit that button. That's the problem. Once you hit 19, it's over. You gotta. It's a whole different feeling because you're like, I can hit this button today to get out. So it's a different feeling.
I can't wait to be there.
So I would say I'm doing 20 in one day. Yes, 20 in one day in the camera. 20 in one day, and I'm done. But I'm doing 20.
I'm dragging.
I don't went this far. I'm 13 years in. I'm doing 20.
Good, baby.
Thank
you can do
you.
it. I'm doing a little bit over 20, but that's just for family reasons, so we can stay together and be stationed together. But I'm doing 20 to retire because military is just good. Where you can retire after 20 years, you could be 40, 45, and get another job and continue a second career or continue on with your career. So, yep, still 20. Who we left off? Oh, Renee, did you have any other closing comments?
They pretty much said everything. Go to school. If nothing else, go to school so you can at least get out with a degree. And Air Force, that's all they push us for. That's all we do. Everything we do is school. So I would say go to school. And whatever branch you pick, we're all good. We all work hand in hand. No matter what branch you pick, we all work hand in hand. All branches are good. Go in open-minded. Come in kind of knowing what you want to do. Watch who you get with. It's too often that I see these airmen, younger, that come in and kicked out within the first 2 years. So get with a person. Hopefully I pray you have a great supervisor that can guide you and mentor or a great peer that you can get with and just go for your goals. But definitely watch who you with. That's what I would say.
Most definitely. Thank you for that. You brought up a lot of good points. First, I know Ashley's gonna go after me, but I definitely want to just she might reiterate it. But thank y'all for coming on here, Renee, Natasha, Stephanie. We definitely appreciate y'all energy. We appreciate all the experience y'all bring because there was no way for us to, eloquently or intelligently speak about the Air Force and the Navy. And actually, I mean, Army Princess, she talks a lot about the Army, but the military is such a bigger place than just the Army. And Ashley's goal, I don't mean to speak to her, but she just wants to educate people about the military and give some of those good experiences that she had. And she gives some real experiences. We talked about the pros and cons. It's not all roses and fairy dust, but the military has been very beneficial to us because we've looked for those benefits and because we've worked hard. So we definitely, appreciate y'all spending that time with us. And you all, the military is gonna give you everything the military is gonna give you everything you put into it. And so you just have to look for those smart people that Renee talked about. Get you someone smart, latch on to them. Don't get me wrong. Hey, you can have a good time. We still have a good time. We old and still have a good time. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not old.
Okay, well that's just because you look fine, babe. I'm old. But you can still have a good time, but you gotta be smart about it. And you definitely have to take care of your business. It's hard to go to school, like Natasha said. I mean, I just went back to school. It's hard, but you can do it, and it will pay dividends. So we definitely appreciate y'all. I don't know, Ashley's real shy, but I'm gonna plug it in. We're gonna either talk about recruitment next, or we're gonna talk about something next week that you're gonna want to tune into. So 8 o'clock Friday night, we up in here talking about it. We're gonna have different guests. We're gonna have people who can call in. They don't have to be on video and get their hair and makeup fly, what I'm saying, during Corona season. But you can call in. And so we'll be here on Tuesday. And
Friday.
Friday. Goodness gracious. Tuesday is on my mind for some reason. And we about to get this Patreon lined up. So it is live. I did my part, like Ashley called me out last week. But it's live. So we about to get that going.
All right, so thank y'all. Thank you to all the guests that came on representing Team Navy, Team Air Force. I really appreciate it. Like he said, it gave a lot of insight. And from the comments that I see, people are really liking it. So I hope this helped my subscribers, people that were trying to decide which branch to help you a little bit more as far as guide you in the right direction on picking a particular branch that's best for you. Because I can't answer that question for you all. And I want to shout out again all the people that donated to the super chat. We was able to make a whole sub sandwich just like
whole sub sandwich and some cheese on it. You know what I'm saying?
Thank y'all for donating to the super chat. Thank y'all for dropping the green heart emojis. And we will see y'all next Friday, same time. And I will see y'all in the next one.
I'm not doing the pie. All right, I'm about to end.